Okay, hello everybody, welcome to Train Sim World 2, Peninsula Corridor Saturday. We are going to be in the bi-level cab car, going from San Jose to San Francisco, limited stop service. So we'll get in here, get everything all set up. Why is it showing that? That's odd. This is Train Sim World 2. That's kind of weird that it's showing that graphic. Huh. Okay. Yep, okay. All right, let's get the doors unlocked. Let's get this all on. Let's make sure the engine is on. I think it is, but we will make sure. Alright, need the cab light on. We'll take the console lights, number lights. We'll just put that cap light on over there. At the next station, I'll run back and get the lights in the passenger area turned on. Hello, Amela. How are you? So yeah, I'm trying. My internet was out. Oh, I thought I locked the doors already. Oops. So that finally got sorted today. So I did some cleaning around my apartment. Did a little bit of rearranging. So I've got the computer to my right now instead of my left. So hopefully I'm gonna have to kind of get used to that now. So anyway, hopefully everybody's excuse me, having a good Saturday evening or early morning. Even though I know how. Yeah, I'm good. I just ran next door, got me some brisk lemonade. Yeah, some lemonade to have to drink to kind of cool down. So, yeah, I'm pretty happy with. I'm happy that my internet's back on for sure, and I kind of like how I've arranged things a little bit now. Might do some more rearranging as time progresses. My walls have been blank too for far too long, so I need to get some stuff hung up because I hate looking at blank walls. It's driving me a bit crazy, especially when I have my own photos to hang up. You know, just I gotta be able to look at something other than the TV or the computer monitor, to be honest. So anyway, so yeah. So for those who don't know, oh yeah, I do love the brisk. I usually get like the lemon flavored tea, or sometimes I get the sweet tea, but I do like the lemonade every once in a while. It's kind of sugary and tastes delicious and all that. What was I going to say? So Tuesday, for those of you who don't know, I donated a little bit of money to British Aces channel. Matter of fact, it was Thursday, late Wednesday night here, early Thursday morning there in the UK. So we are going to do just a fun points challenge on Peninsula Corridor. I got to pick the route, and I asked him if, could we, whatever service he picks. It's just going to be for fun. It's not going to be anything serious. no prizes or anything. So, you know, if you want to play along, I guess, yeah, why not? If people want to join along too, but just know there's no prizes or anything. Just doing it for fun. So, yeah, so we'll be back on this route on Tuesday. I will be streaming the service, whatever it may be. So we'll see what locomotive. I'll let him pick the locomotive. So that'll be at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll do that run. I'm not paying attention here, and I can start speeding up already. So yeah, should be good. So Lawrence is our first stop up here. We will have to pull off the main line there, which means we'll have to slow down to, I think, 50 miles an hour. So I did get a small bag of corn chips too, which I do like. So I'm trying not to eat them in your ear either. Hey Josh, how are you? Welcome, welcome. We just got started, so you haven't missed anything. You're not late like you have been before. So, it's all good. Hopefully you're well. If we have a few people pop in tonight, that's fine. If not, that's okay too. It's not the end of the world. Good. Glad to hear it, Josh. Glad to hear it. Yeah, always good to do a run on the home route. I was looking at my driver sort of what do you call it, my stats, and interestingly enough, for the longest time, well, it's still the best one, but the locomotive I'm best in, or have the most experience in, is the ice train on the Cologne to Aachen route. But the number one route that I played the most is Peninsula Corridor. So, yeah. I guess that makes sense. It's, you know, it's how you feel most comfortable on your home route, so to speak, or as close to your home route. So, yeah. But none of my locomotives or none of the equipment on Peninsula Corridor even has touched the ice train so far. I think I was like really well, because when we got the three routes, I think only when I got Train Symbol 2, I paid for the version that you got East Coast Way with it. So it was a while before I was able to get back onto Peninsula Corridor and Train Symbol 2. So yeah, always nice to be here on the home route. Nice starry night in the Bay Area. Chilled summer evening. And oddly enough, this service was the closest to the time here for real in New York. So maybe we just do this one. There's the F40. I'm really looking forward to Northeast Corridor because the Amtrak, or is it, no, not Amtrak, it's the Metra? Massachusetts Transit Authority or something like that. They've got an F40, so that will be in the game as well. So that's two F40s that we'll be able to play. So, oh man, matter of fact, we could do an off-the-rail service with the Peninsula Corridor F40 and the Gallery cab cars, I think. Ooh, yeah, and we could bring the one from Northeast Corridor to the Bay Area. Ooh, I like that. Not a super superb stop, but it'll do. All right, let's run down the hall. Let's run to the engine in the back there, and yeah, MBTA. That's it. Thank you. I knew it was Massachusetts something or other. I couldn't remember all the acronym or the letters for the. We might be just a smidge late leaving out of here, but that's okay. We might be able to make up the time. Let's put the marker lights on. And let's see. And let's go to run. There we go. So now the light should be on in the passenger area. Oops. Get that door to shut. There we go. Yeah, I am too. I'm really gonna. I hope it's gonna go well. Yeah, we're gonna be just a little bit late, but that's all right. It's important in the evening time. Our passengers have lights on. We don't want them to feel uncomfortable in the train. All right. Let's get the doors locked. Get the brakes off. Oh, I turned on the. Yeah. Okay. I turned on the. What lights? The flashers, the strobe lights. Huh. Interesting. They didn't work when I honked the horn. Maybe I have to be moving. No? Oh well. That's okay. Nothing like a well-lit train, but yeah, I think yeah, I might have to do an off-the-rail service take the F40 and the Nippon Gallery cab cars to Northeast Corridor and bring the MBTA F40 over here to Peninsula. Yeah, that might look pretty cool. Kind of like where we did the M7 on Southeastern High Speed, and we did the we brought over with the 465 over, saying that can't wait for Cane Creek either. Yeah, I can't either. I am looking forward to that as well. That's going to be good. Oh, we got Mountain View coming up, and then after that we have California Avenue. The home route, the home station. Technically, because it was. Yeah, I kind of consider Mountain View the home station, I guess. I miss living in Mountain View. It was a nice place to live. I couldn't afford to live there now, of course. So yeah, Tuesday we'll be back here with the British Ace to do the fun points challenge, and then Wednesday morning I have a meeting downtown again to talk more about the veterans telling their stories project, and yeah. So and then Tuesday we also have the roadmap coming out. I do believe the next one. Yeah, that's right. It's another roadmap coming up since we got Cathcart just this past Thursday, and it's a really good route. I did do the collector scenario where you go and get the broken 314 from Cathcart Circle from the station there, and then bring it back to the depot. That wasn't too bad. The only thing I noticed is there's one spot, and I will put it in the forums eventually, or maybe somebody else has already spotted it. But if you have the AWS and the DSD engaged, there's a light that will. You have to ask permission to proceed to hook up to the broke down 314. The light does not turn green or even yellow to allow you to proceed. It stays red. So as you go past it, the AWS engages, and so like the brake engages, so you have to reset it. So I just turned off the AWS and just left it off. So just be aware of that if you haven't done that scenario yet. But that's something they probably need to look into and get fixed. I should have recorded it. I didn't think about it, but I should have recorded it so they could see what I'm talking about. So, but yeah, otherwise it's a really phenomenal route. Really well put together, I think. The scenery, I think, is, it's an urban area. It's so there's not. There's a little bit of scenery, I guess, but nothing like Clinchfield or Sandpatch Grade sort of scenery, but I really like it. I couldn't find the override. I hit the acknowledge button and it didn't change anything, so I just disengaged it. So, yeah. But I had to save the game. I saved it before I inched forward, just like on the off chance that it was a glitch and then it was going to fail the scenario because I went past the red signal. So, I go maybe just, not too bad. We'll still be on the, there we go. Yeah, so, anyway, I don't know, maybe it isn't a glitch or a problem. Maybe I just didn't hit the right button in time or whatever, but I thought I did, but that's okay. But yeah, just be aware of that when you're right outside that station to hook up to the broke down 314. There's going to be a red, and when you contact the signaler, that red is not going to change to like a yellow or a green or anything. Oh, we can get the doors shut. Oops. Oh, what the? Why did I do that? I did not mean to. Oh boy, what was? What have I said? Massachusetts Bay Trans. Okay, thank you. I knew it was Massachusetts something. I just couldn't remember what the letters stood for. But thank you, Mel. I appreciate that. Check out the brain on a Mella. All right, California Avenue, and then up to my favorite station, Palo Alto. It could have been worse, Josh. It could have been worse. I could have spatted or, you know, derailed or something, but it's all good. We got our marker lights on here in the back like we're supposed to, not at the other end. No problem. I was cleaning, but overheard you wondering. Yeah, that's okay. I appreciate it. But yeah, Cathcart, if you haven't bought it yet, definitely it's a buy. It's a good route. Plenty, and you know, the great thing is it takes what, half an hour, 45 minutes to do a service. Like, you can knock out a couple services in a couple hours. You can do. Yeah, there's plenty to do. You're not going to be bored on there, I don't think. It does. I will say, if you're doing what is essentially an all-stop service, it does get kind of tedious at times because you're just like, because sometimes they're very close together. So just as you start to get up to speed, then it's like, bam, it's time to stop again. So, oh, nice. But yeah, I think it's definitely worth it. It's a fun route. I think plenty of people will enjoy it, especially if you like. I think if you like the Bakerloo line or even Long Island Railroad, I think you'll definitely like Cathcart. And as I said in my video about Cathcart on Thursday, um, I think it helps when people can identify with the route, especially if they've been there before, they've lived in Scotland for some time or whatever. If you can pick out certain things along the way on the route that stand out to you and go like, oh man, that looks like just like I remember it in real life, or I think that's important. All right, let's start getting on the brakes here. Now, if you want a gallery cab car sort of experience on this route, the Nippon gallery cab car has the same lapped braking system as the F40. So if you want to kind of just have fun on this route and not worry about the lap brake system, I highly recommend the bi-level cab car with the MP36. It's a little bit easier to get used to. You won't have to worry about building up the brake pressure and then putting it into lap brake and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's definitely worth. Oh, look at that! Right at the edge. Just a smidge to spare. keep the passengers on their toes when they're getting on and off the train. But yeah, this one's definitely a little bit easier to deal with as far as the brakes go. I know a lot of people can't stand the lap brake system. Oh, you know what? I didn't open the window. Can I open the other one too? I think I have to go over there. I guess I can't. Oh. right, quick run up to Palo Alto. Now, something I did do after I completed the video for Cathcart on Thursday was I did put a link to my Twitch here. Let's see if anybody else will come in, join the channel. And then if we start to see a spike in excuse me, if we start to see a spike in viewership, then I may start assigning some mod roles here in the chat. Because what I don't want to have happen is I don't want things to get out of control with the viewers. I won't tolerate honk the horn, put the window down, turn the cab light, all that other crap. No, that's not going to be tolerated here in the stream. If you're looking for that, you can go somewhere else, but no, it won't happen here. So anyway, I may start assigning some mod roles, but we'll see if anybody joins in on the conversation. I would like for people to come in and just be entertained and have fun and just enjoy the route. That's a pretty good stop. Oh, we still got our 500 points. Nice. I'll take it. That's been our best stop so far. Usually, for whatever reason, it takes me about 3 or 4 stops before I'm hitting my mark. So yeah. The door is closing. Right up to notch 8. Menlo Park is next. Miss Palo Alto too. Love that station. All the restaurants and places I used to visit when I worked on the other side of the freeway in what is technically East Palo Alto, although you never said that you were coming from East Palo Alto because that implied that you were up to no good. If you were smart, you said you were coming from Menlo Park. But yeah, we used to go into downtown Palo Alto to there were some pizza places. There was just all kinds of good food. Man, I miss that place. I just miss that area. Good stuff. Yeah, and the houses are just incredible. Really nice houses in the Palo Alto area. I might have to figure out a way to squeeze in a trip home. Well, my folks, the only So my folks, they go up to, um, there's a man-made lake up by Mount Lassen called Lake Almanor. And they go up every summer, basically, for a while to, just kind of relax and enjoy the scenery. My stepdad goes fishing out on the lake. But as much as I'd like to visit them, I'd like to just go to the Bay Area for a couple days and just kind of, reminisce a bit and take some pictures and do some more, just kind of show people where I lived and stuff like that. All right, so we got about just under a minute to wait here. But yeah, I miss the Bay Area. I just don't miss the high prices and the traffic and all that drama. So yeah. Oh, we can go ahead and get the doors shut. Oh, there's the emergency instructions for the window. I think I'm thinking of the other end. There's that cutout area on top of the MP36 if they have to pull the driver out that way. If there's an accident of some kind. All right, 3.4 miles to Redwood City. Climate best by government test. We'll take a look at the famous Redwood City Arch there. It'll be on the left side as we come into the station. Matter of fact, we should probably stop. We'll be almost right across from it, I think. Be kind of diagonal from it, but we'll see. You see, it's those little things, kind of like I was talking about with Cathcart. When you can identify it, and I know like all these homes aren't exactly probably as they look. It's just they know homes are there along the route, which they are. But things like that arch there in Redwood City is important, and the way that the street is designed is reminiscent of how it looks in real life. Man, that just makes me want to go home even more and take pictures and show people how it really looks in real life. I'd like to be able to go to the Bay Area and ride the train. Just even if I have to go from station to station, if I can get a pass to go and just get off to the station, catch the next train. I may have to wait a while, but it'd be so worth it, I think. It just came. I thought it came earlier, but it sounded like the mailman had just showed up. That's alright, I'll catch it. I'll go check after we're done here. Not that I'm expecting anything or whatever. But it sounded like the mail person just delivered our mail. Which seems rather late for a Saturday evening. But they might have been short-staffed. Some people might be out taking vacations. Oh, plus I think some kids graduated, I think, yesterday. So some people might be having family time. There's that 38-2 always sitting there, hiding out. Sitting in his locomotive, running the locomotive for no reason whatsoever. Never see him move. Alright, here we're coming into Redwood City. And then after Redwood City, we're going to San Carlos. There it is. There's the arch. I can see it. Look at that. Now I think, if I remember correctly, in real life, unless it's changed somehow. Oh no! Look at that. That's okay. I can hop off the corner there. I think this is actually, yeah. Matter of fact, you can see it. It is got a neon lights. I don't think it does, Umbella. I think in real life, unless because of energy problems or whatever in the Bay Area, I think this used to light up. But maybe it doesn't anymore because it's too much, wastes too much energy. But yeah, the way that street is right here, that especially this curve here, that is fairly reminiscent of how it is in real life. Now I think before it probably used to go through here across into here, and they changed it for some reason. Oh, I gotta get the brakes off and get going. I'm sitting here looking at the streets and everything, and I'm supposed to be on my way. All right, San Carlos and then Hillsdale. Yeah, it does. It is like that in real life. The way that it's curved here, and then you go across. Yeah, it is like that in real life. But I think it looks like it might have been gone a different way, and then they changed it for some reason. I don't remember why, but yeah, the way it's curved. Because I remember over here somewhere, I don't remember where exactly because the buildings aren't like exact, but there was a microbrewery restaurant over there too, which was really good. That one, and then also in downtown Mountain View, and I don't know if it's open, but they used to have a place called the Tide House, which was a microbrewery and restaurant, and they had the best oatmeal stout I've ever tasted. Oh, it was so good. But again, I don't know what all is open anymore. What kind of folded up because of the pandemic, or just the high cost of rent, leasing spaces in the Bay Area. Like everything just got skyrocketed expensive. So yeah, I just don't know what all is, like I just remember certain places, but a lot of stuff, even way before the pandemic, a lot of stuff went out of business, just due to economic issues. People couldn't afford to rent or lease spaces, and, as the cost of living went up, everything else went up, and it just, yeah. Rather unfortunate. But yeah, I definitely would like to. I don't know. I've got to find a way to plan. I mean, if I don't know, I'm gonna have to figure out something, because I'd really like to be able to show everybody how close to spot on Dovetail got this route. I mean, the locomotives and everything all look legit because that's all scanned in information. They went and got all that stuff uh, in real, way before the pandemic hit, because this was in Train Sim World 2020, before all that work was done before the pandemic. So yeah, I just like to be able to show everybody, like the stations and all that. Um, yeah, I'll have to figure something out somehow. I mean, I've not been home since Easter of 2019. Uh, I did go to the Bay Area for a little bit and then went up to my folks for Easter. Excuse me. Um, so far, we've been on time, so we're doing good on that. We're not missing any points on passengers, that's for sure. Um, Hillsdale's next, and then San Mateo. But yeah, I I spent some time. I stayed up near in San Francisco. Actually, I stayed right across from the Pacific Ocean. Actually, not like directly across the street, but just up the street a little bit. Like I could walk down from my hotel, and there's the beach, and there's the Pacific Ocean. Um, so I stayed there. I went to the where did I go? Oh, I was trying to be in town in time for the annual Cherry Blossom Festival that always takes place over near the Japanese Cultural Center, and my plane got delayed. Well, it got delayed leaving here, and then I had to wait for another plane once we got to a connecting flight somewhere. It was a big old mess. And by the time I got to San Francisco, I landed in SFO. It was the whole fair, everything was already done and over with. I was so disappointed because they usually have like a street festival. They have costumes and you know just all kinds of stuff. You know, um, but yeah, that didn't happen. But I did go to the Flower Conservatory, which is a Victorian style building that's still in use. It's been there for a very long time. The Japanese Tea Garden that's in San Francisco in Golden Gate Park is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, Japanese tea garden on the West Coast, I think. It's a really cool place to hang out. They do have a place that serves sushi, and you can get tea there, obviously. But it's a very nice, peaceful garden to walk through. But yeah, I did go to the Japanese Cultural Center for a little bit. I was there. Where else did I go? I did go by the old Exploratorium, which is the buildings that were all used for the Pan Pacific Exposition in the 1900s, I think. Yeah, early on. It's a really neat area as well. It's not in use anymore. They did have like a science museum there, and then that's since moved somewhere else. Yeah, then I went across and had met my aunt, my brother for breakfast, and then drove up to see my folks for a couple days. And then drove to Sacramento and flew back here. But yeah, I didn't really. I want to spend more time. I really got to think about that. Uh, and I don't know, maybe by the time, because they are working on the electrification of the line still, and I know last time I checked, that it was halfway done. But if I could get out there, it might be done by the time I get out there. So we might be able to even ride on the new Peninsula corridor line with the new electrified passenger trains. I might have to. I have to Google that when I'm done, just to see what they're doing. Or how close to completion are they? That'd be kind of neat to be able to go home and do that. All right, our next stop is San Mateo. Now, one of the cool things I did one time when I was home, I think is when I drove cross country after I got back from Afghanistan. Oh, there were some GP 38s taking these ballast cars. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. I drove to Oakland and parked my car. You could take a ferry from Oakland to San Francisco, and so I did. I parked my car at the and took the boat across to San Francisco, and I think it lets you out right by Embarcadero, I think, somewhere. That was pretty cool. That was fun. Yeah, I think that I did that in 2013. Yeah. Yeah, I think I went over there. I walked around. I camped out by the historic F line station there at along the Embarcadero, and just took pictures of all the historic trolleys that they have running that day, and then took the boat back. I didn't stay. I think I stayed for a couple hours or so and then left. Went back across to Oakland, and did I stay in? I think I did. I stayed, and then I went to Castro Valley and stayed in Castro Valley for a few days, my hometown. All right, San Mateo, then Burlingame. Now, I think if I were to do it and I stayed in, like, right around Millbrae, because usually the hotels are a little bit cheaper if you stay by the airport. And then if I stayed somewhere where I could get to the train station fairly easily. Oh, gonna be it's okay. I totally misjudged that one. It happens. That's okay. We're still on time, so we'll still get max points for our passengers, so I'm pretty positive we're going to get a gold out of this. We haven't really monumentally screwed it up too bad, so. Let's just see. Burlingame, and then Millbrae, then 22nd Street, and then on into San Francisco, so. Yeah. Yeah, I guess if I was going to do it, if I stayed in Millbrae, because there's that large station there, and it'd be easy to get to. I might have to think about that. Oh man, that would be glorious. Actually, I would, even if it was for like just 2 days. All right, Burlingame is next. Quick run up to Burlingame. Yeah, that would be just, oh man. If I could take to spend even one day and take the train to spend the day going up and down the line and just trying, just reminiscing about the how did I get out of here? There we go. I don't know how that happened, but okay. Yeah, it would just be phenomenal, really, if I could just spend the day going up and down the line and just take pictures and video and whatnot. It would really make. I'd be very happy doing that, I think. I just don't know what they may have. Well, because each state, I guess, would have their own laws as far as photography and video at train stations would go. I'd have to look into that before I take a leap of faith and try to plan it out. Oops. I might have gotten on the brakes just a little too early. But I wouldn't even really need to rent a car because I wouldn't drive anywhere. I think most places near the airport, there's usually a place to eat or you could order in. And I might have to really think about that. Oop. Yeah, that's a better stop. And it would be convenient if I flew into San Francisco and just stayed right near the airport. So if I got there and then spent, depending on what time I got there, if I spent depending on when I got there, I might be able to get some stuff done right off the bat. But man, I might have to really seriously consider that. Yeah. I might have to consider that. Now, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm just like, man, I'd really like to be able to do that. I was gonna say it is rolling downhill just a smidge. All right, let's go. There we go. Lucky there wasn't a red there. I might have spatted by accident. Millbrae, then 22nd Street, and then on into San Francisco. So, and I would love, oh man, now that I even think about it more, I would love to be able to go take the train up to the city and then get some pictures of Pac Bell Park. I do miss Pac Bell Park. I miss going to see Barry Bonds play. I won't lie. I know people say he cheated. I don't give a shit. Pardon my language. I don't care. I love going to see him play at Pac Bell Park. every time the hard part for me is every time I'm on this route, I get so homesick. And it's hard not to think about all the places I used to go to in the Bay Area. Like all the baseball games I've been to. A couple times I saw Notre Dame play against Stanford. There at Stanford University. All the time I spent in Palo Alto, San Jose, all over the city. Just, it's hard not to miss home. I forget that it goes down to 75 as you go into Millbrae. I don't know why it drops 4 miles an hour below. That doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, hey Chris, how are you? But anyway, yeah, it's hard not to get homesick when I play this route. Really, it's difficult not to. Oh boy. I might have messed up this one. Ooh, doggy. Uh-oh. I might have totally goofed this one up. I don't know, maybe. It's good. Oh, yeah, I did. Oops. Let's see if we're still going to be on the platform. Barely. I'm good, thanks, Chris. Just getting a little homesick here on the home route. Just thinking about stuff, and well, I'm good. Yeah. I mean, it's okay to be homesick, I think. There's nothing wrong with that. It's hard not to. Unless you just don't have any... I guess it wouldn't make sense, like, if you just didn't have any pleasant memories at all of home, then, yeah, then it doesn't make sense to be homesick, but... yeah. All right, 22nd Street will be next, I believe. Yep, there we go. We got an 11-mile journey here. All right, let's go. Come on. Come on, locomotive. Let's get moving. There's the BART extension that was added in. Taking you to the airport. See, that'd be the great thing from the airport. I wouldn't even have to take a cab or whatever if I stayed here in Millbrae, which I'm sure there's plenty of hotels in the area, but I could just take BART and all that. I have to really consider some way of doing it. It would be really awesome to go home for a little, even for 2 days. I think I could, not that I like to travel, and because for me it takes even longer to get adjusted to the time change. I don't care, it would be worth it. Because I think I'd just sleep on the plane on the way back. I'd just be so tired, but I'd be so happy. Yeah, so we just got 22nd Street, and we go on into San Francisco, and then we'll be wrapping up the stream. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed it so far, even including my ramblings about home and getting all sentimental and stuff. I know not everybody appreciates those sorts of things, but it is what it is. Really enjoyed Mick's run on Battlefield 5 earlier this evening. It was good fun. Yeah, as a matter of fact, since he did a shout out for me, I'm going to do a shout out for him. So Mickford Ford, I should pronounce it Watt Mickford. Check out his YouTube channel. He does do videos on Battlefield 5. He's kind of doing warm-ups for the new Battlefield game. Go give him a check out. Give him a subscription. You know, just be entertained. Loads of fun, loads of laughs. You won't be disappointed. Since he gave my Twitch a shout out earlier in his stream, I should return the favor. So yeah, go check him out on YouTube. He streams directly there. I'll put that just a smidge over the speed limit. I get tagged. Yeah. Picky. Yeah, I'm really seriously thinking about how I could do a trip home. Even for a few days. I mean, just kind of drop in, drop out. It would be good. I mean, if I could time it enough where if I can spend a good portion of the day riding the train, going up and down the line, and get pictures, but I also would really like to. See, it's easy to get to Packbell Park from the station because it's pretty much just right down the street, a few blocks away. If I were to go anywhere else in the city, either I'd have to take a cab or something. But I think Packbell Park, visiting that would be just about good enough. Although I would really like to be able to go to the Japanese Cultural Center as well. Because I still think at this point, I think the cherry blossoms are still in bloom outside of the cultural center there. You know, I have to say I'm really fortunate in a way that I grew up in such a diverse area like the Bay Area. You know, around a lot of different cultures and whatnot. I feel pretty fortunate that I got to have that experience growing up. You know, I understand not everybody does, but yeah, it was a pretty awesome experience, I think, overall. And certainly for me, I think it felt a lot better as I got older and was able to, just do things on my own, spend more time. Oh, why was I? I don't know why I got on the brakes. Yeah, it was really a neat place to grow up, I think. Despite all of its flaws and whatnot, but I'm thankful that I got to experience all those things. I don't know, maybe if one day the cost of living goes back down to some sort of normalcy, maybe I could move back home, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. I think the only way I could move back to the Bay Area at this point is if I win the lottery. But even then, they're going to tax the crap out of me. But I definitely would like to get home, even for, like I said, for a couple days, just to have that time home. Even if and it doesn't always have to be about seeing family. When I think about going home, I like to be able to go and do my own thing. We're gonna get up in here in a moment because we're getting ready to go into the tunnel here. But of course, if I'm going to be there, my folks would probably really appreciate me going for a visit as well. But yeah, be kind of nice to be a bit secretive and pop into the Bay Area and pop right back out. A bit clandestine. All right, so we just passed. We're coming up on. Nope, we already passed Bayshore. Yep, we passed Bayshore. Back there, so we should be coming in any moment now to 22nd Street. This is the only station that I think that I would bypass. I would not. I still wouldn't get off this at the station. I don't care. I never feel comfortable about 22nd Street. It's just always seemed kind of just a seedy area. No, my family, what's left of my mom's side of the family, my brother, my aunt, and her girlfriend live in the East Bay, I think, still. My mom and stepdad moved up to Northern California. My dad's in Alabama. My brother, I think, is currently in Sacramento, last time I heard. So yeah, not really a lot of family left in the Bay Area. I mean, everybody just kind of moved out. Certainly as costs started to rise, that played an important factor as well. And then, my folks, once they both retired from Alameda County, my mom and stepdad both had worked there for over 20 years, I think. Just over 20 years. So yeah, they both retired from the county, and so they moved up to Northern California after they retired. So yeah, I don't really have family per se in the Bay Area. It's just I miss going there and just kind of just doing my own thing. Might go a little past on this one too. Yeah, it might be okay though. Let's go have a look where we stopped at on the. Oh yeah, we kind of bungled that one, but that's okay. Yeah, I just miss the Bay Area in general, just the places I used to visit. And I mean, we lived in the East Bay. We never really lived like in San Francisco proper. It was. I don't think my family could have. That's just way too crowded there. You don't really have. There's not a lot of places to park your car. Like you can't. It's hard to even have a garage in the city. Like you can't. Because some people will park in front of your garage, and you gotta get their cars towed and whatnot, and just yeah, it's not a. I mean, I think certainly I think I would have my life would have been much different if I grew up in San Francisco proper, but the East Bay was it was good. I mean, I can't complain that about it. But no, we didn't live like in San Francisco proper. I always grew up in the East Bay. For a while, we lived out in a town called Livermore, which was way out there. Uh, Matter of fact, my mom and I were talking about that the other day because when I was young, my brother, I think when I was like 2 or 3, we lived out in Livermore, and it was just hot. Uh, but it was cheaper to live there for a uh, while my dad basically started working. Got he was going to school, and then he got his job for the first job at Montgomery Ward's once he learned computer systems. But the commute and everything after a while was becoming too much, so we moved to Castor Valley, where I spent most of my life at, or living in Castor Valley. My folks bought a house from my grandparents when my grandfather had decided to retire from Montgomery Ward's, having risen to the manager of their paint factory in the Bay Area. Uh, and then so they were in the process of buying the cabin where my grandfather and my grandmother lived at until he had passed away in '92 from brain cancer. So yeah, we've always been in the East Bay. uh, I always had this I guess romantic notion of actually living in San Francisco, but it's very difficult. It's best if you have a motorcycle, quite honestly, or maybe even a scooter getting around, because you can kind of zip around the traffic and everything. But people there are not exactly friendly towards motorcycle riders. Um, but yeah, if you've got a motorcycle or a scooter, that's like the best way to get around. Otherwise, you're walking or you're taking mass transit everywhere. It's very difficult to have a car in the city. But yeah, I always had this crazy notion in my mind, like I was gonna find me a nice woman in the city, and the city life and all that, and it just never worked out. So yeah, but I do enjoy San Francisco for all of its quirks and whatnot, you know. So, but yeah, I don't know that I, I I still sometimes wish I could live like in a major city like San Francisco, but at the same time, it's just I think it would wear the novelty would wear off, because after a while, just being so crowded and everything, it just wouldn't. After a while, I think you'd just be like, I'm over this. Come on. There we go. Finally, I can get back on my surf position as we get into the city here. Nice, lovely evening here in San Francisco. I'm going to be speeding here in a moment. Okay. We gonna be waiting for somebody? Oh, we're crossing over. That's okay. So we're going over there. We won't. Which is weird, because normally we're on the the right side there as we come in, but we're going to be kind of middle left. Almost, yeah, I guess middle left. But yeah, you could barely still make out the outline of. If you see the flag kind of there in the distance, there's Pac Bell Park. I love calling that out. I love seeing that little. You could just see it. You could tell it's a flag, even though it's not waving or it's not rendered in properly. But I always know. And then just as you come in, there's the lights for the park right there, right to the right of my marker there, the little dot. That's the lights for evening games and whatnot. Oh, look at that. There's an MP36. There's two F40s. Another MP36 there. Oh, three. Oh, I misjudged that one. That's not an MP36. We got three F40s and an MP36. We'll be the second one coming into the station then. Ah. They bamboozled me. All right. Get a little bit of speed off here. We don't want to hit the buffer there at the end and derail. And we're definitely going to be early, so that's all good. Nice stop. Couldn't ask for a better way to end the stream. Put our marker lights on here. We can turn our cab light off there. Okay, so yeah, we will be there we go. Let's get that gold. There we go. That's what I like to see. All right. It's about an hour and 17, 47-ish miles. We'll just round it up. So anyway, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you all for coming in. Greatly appreciate it. Now I got 5 viewers. All of a sudden, we're just coming to an end. Anyway, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you all for coming in. Greatly appreciate it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And I will see you all later. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening, early Sunday morning, whatever the case may be.